Fanboys!
Hey guys, it's Alan from Fanboys, giving you another review. And for this review, we'll be reviewing Marvel Avengers, the video game 2020. Wow, that was really long. Well, that was she said. Well, jokes aside, so here's what I think about the game. If you think 2020 couldn't get any much worse, well, this game adds to that. I don't really know what to say to this game without offending the Marvel fanbase. But then again, the game probably already did that on its own. So here comes nothing. It sucks. It sucks so bad. I don't want to play it anymore. I actually started making the review after I finished the main story because I don't really want to play it anymore. It's like torture. This game is a chore to play. Sometimes I find myself just quitting the game altogether on how repetitive the game is. Like, I think they were trying to copy Destiny on some level, but on not even close. You know, I really had high hopes for this game when it first announced and shown, but sadly, like any other game, it wasn't there. Heck, it wasn't even here. Well, you might not see it, but I'm actually doing something with my hand that is trying to show you where they are at the level. All that being said, the game is quite disappointing, honestly. So, let me try and not sell you the game here, starting with the gameplay. When the game first came out, it was a buggy mess, like Anthem level buggy of mess, which I didn't even know was possible. But even with the past fixes and patches, the issues are still there. So, the combat feels so clunky at times that it's so frustrating. It doesn't feel like you're in control sometimes. And sometimes when you're doing certain action, your character will freeze for a moment. That's how buggy this game is. And then it's paired with a horrible camera control, the tedious dodging mechanics, and the character movements. So, let me start with the character movement. This right here, it's so unpolished. And when you move, you feel like a robot, making the game feel really stiff and hard. Pause. And same way with the animation, it's all over the place. Plus, there's this world object that has horrible collision box. So when you walk towards the object, the character starts freaking out and tries to find a way around it. Okay, second, the camera controls. Or the camera movement, whatever you want to call it. You have no idea how many times I died because of this camera position. I wish they had gone into more of a Batman Arkham type game style of camera positioning. I mean, yeah, the recent patch added a wide camera support. It helped a little bit, but the problem is still there. And lastly, the dodging mechanic. This is by far the worst dodging mechanic I've ever seen in a video game. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's really terrible. The dodging doesn't feel right and it feels so unresponsive at times. It made me quit a dozen of times because of this mechanic. It doesn't really click with the enemy attacks, you know what I mean? Like it would be on other games. So yeah, no, it's not the combat here that is only terrible. So it's a Marvel superhero game, right? So I'm assuming here they had full licensing of these Marvel characters. So you'd think they would go all out and introduce some awesome villains? The villain department here is so lacking. They only show 3 major villains here, and you don't even get to fight them a lot. Instead, you'd be fighting androids with powers. Like, who gives a crap about that? It's so boring. Like, give us some B-list villains, come on. There's no excitement. I mean, it's a video game, for Christ's sakes. Especially for a superhero video game like this. Going back to the gameplay. So, this game is an RPG, and you know what that means? Yes, the Hulk can be beaten by teeny wincy robot because of this. Well, to be fair, it's only for the first levels, only where you're still limited by what you can get. But then again, these are just androids. Compared to you, you're a hulking gamma radiation. I mean, they could have at least balanced the levels of the enemies here so that you'd still feel like an unstoppable force when you're playing as the Hulk. Same with Thor. But Alan, isn't that just supposed to work on an RPG game? Okay, valid argument there. But come on, it's the Hulk and God of Thunder. It just doesn't make sense to me. Going back on the topic of it being an RPG, so you'd expect you can fully customize your character like the Injustice game, for example. Wrong again. When you equip an item, it doesn't really change the look of your character. Instead, it only changes the stats, and that's it. It's so boring. There's no coolness factor, especially for a superhero video game that is an RPG. But at least you can change the costume via cosmetics, right? Not even that is special, because a lot of cosmetics in this game are just recolored and reskinned. Okay, speaking of special, the skill tree here is kinda special. I gotta say, I think they put a lot of effort with this one. So every time you level up, you get a skill point and upgrade some of your abilities, and it's all unique and different with all the characters you play. But what's the point of it all if the gameplay is so repetitive, especially with the combat? Plus the map selection is abysmal. The side missions are all the same, and when I say it's all the same, it's all the same. The map design are all similar, and the object is like capture this and that, and it's done. You rinse and repeat until you level up till you're brain dead. So if you're playing this for the first time, I suggest just going through the story straight, and don't look back, don't look sideways either. I mean, I guess it could be fun if you and your 3 friends play this game together. Well, assuming you have friends that bought this game. And lastly in our category, so I could wrap this up all together. Now, this is the only reason I finished the game in the first place. It's because of the story, and the story is nothing amazing. I'd say it's a bit of a cliche, you know, bad guys and saving the day at the end. But I think that's not a bad thing for this game. And as I said before, the game is lacking in the villain department, so don't expect something super exciting battle to go in here. Although I did like one character of all of the Avengers here. Now, I'm just stating my personal opinion here because you guys might not agree with me. I actually like Kamala, aka the Miss Marvel, and she reminds me of the Peter Parker when it comes to the jokes and humor. I know. I'm just trying to dig something positive here. And I actually wouldn't mind if they made a standalone game for Kamala after the Avengers, but please, with an actually good game this time. Please! And they even borrowed some scene from the Avengers. Well, I guess not borrowed, but inspiration, I guess. And also, there are some writings here that sometimes doesn't make sense, like Tony Stark going broke. Can you imagine that? Tony Stark? I just don't buy it. Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, go brokey. But I gotta say, I did like the final boss battle though. It gave me an awe moment, but that's after all the tedious fighting and repetitive missions. Like there's a reward or something. Like you were rewarded by completing the game, so you wouldn't have to play it anymore. Okay, we're nearly at the end of the video. With all that being said, I guess the only thing that I can't complain here is the graphics. The graphic is what you'd expect from a 2020 game. So my question here is, who is this game for? I guess for the casual gamers or casual Marvel fan? But even that, I don't think it will get a positive feedback from them. It's just boring and repetitive, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'll be giving this score a 6. No wait, 5.5, and that's being generous. And as always, if you guys did like that video, please hit that like button, and if you loved it, hit that subscribe button as well, and the bell icon if you want more videos like this. And this is Alan from Fanboys. I'm signing out.